The R-4 Hyena just dropped in Helldivers 2. You get it from the latest campaign, Celestial Fence, so right now almost everyone has it. It is a new marksman rifle and it fires incendiary rounds. On paper that sounds good. A precise rifle that also sets things on fire. And the first few shots feel fine, but then you take it into a real fight. And a few things start to get in the way. So here is what I want to figure out. Is the Hyena worth a slot? Or is it a niche gun the current meta does not really reward? Let me get the basics out of the way first. The Hyena is a semi-auto marksman rifle. One trigger pull, one shot. You can't buy it from a warbond. It was the reward for campaign Celestial Fence, which we finished by winning the majority of major orders. Each round does 220 damage, which is solid for a primary. The armor penetration is medium, but the durable damage is only 45 and that is very low. So against armored targets, the raw bullet does not do much. The recoil is also on the high side, and that matters more than usual on a gun that wants precise shots. We will get to that. On top of the bullet damage, it applies fire. The burn does around 100 damage per second for a few seconds. The magazine holds 15 rounds and you carry 5 spares. On paper, it looks like the Diligence counter sniper that also sets things on fire. To be fair, the Hyena is not all downside. The base damage is good, 220 per shot drops most smaller enemies quickly. And the fire helps too. The burn can finish off an enemy that is still standing after your shot, so now and then it saves you a bullet. So when a shot lands, the weapon feels fine, but the fire is less of an edge than it looks. The Coyote already gives you fire, and it does that on a full auto assault rifle instead of a slow semi-auto. It is also sometimes too overkill. Dropping a 220 damage round on a Voteless or a Scavenger is a waste, and once they are in your face, you still have to shoot them anyway. So the strengths are real, but they only matter if they survive the handling and the ammo economy. And they don't. The first thing you notice is the sway, and for a marksman rifle that is the worst possible place to have a problem. The whole point of the weapon type is landing precise shots at range, but the Hyena wobbles a lot even when you are standing completely still, and swinging from one target to the next feels heavy and slow. Say two Devastators are pushing you from slightly different angles. On a rifle that handles well, you tap one, move over, and tap the other. On the Hyena, the second shot drifts, and you end up correcting your aim instead of just firing. And it gets worse the farther out you shoot. At the range where a marksman rifle should feel best, a small wobble turns a headshot into a body shot or a flat miss. The recoil piles on top of that. You fire, the sight jumps, and then you wait for it to settle before the next shot. Follow-ups get slower and corrections get more awkward. Now, I did not test every attachment setup myself, but from what other players have found, even the best setup does not fully fix the sway. So you can make it a little better, you just cannot make it feel good. And this is not an assault rifle where a bad first shot is cheap to fix. The Hyena fires slowly and only holds 15 rounds, so every miss costs you. It feels best when the targets are spread out and nothing is pushing you. Helldivers 2 almost never lets a fight stay that calm. Then there is the ammo. 15 rounds in the magazine is small for a weapon like this, and 5 spare mags do not last long once a fight gets going. The rifle wants slow, deliberate aimed shots, but a real fight rarely gives you that. Enemies close in, you start firing faster to keep up, and the magazine drains before you know it. And the sway makes it worse. You are already spending extra shots correcting your aim, and every wasted shot is ammo you do not get back. The fire can finish weakened enemies, but you cannot always wait for it. When several of them are closing in, another bullet is the safer call. So the Hyena asks you to be precise, but it does not give you the ammo to stay in the fight while you do it. Compare that to the Coyote. It has a 45 round magazine and 8 spare mags. Each bullet hits softer, sure, but you get far more of them. So the Coyote gives you room to miss, room to switch targets, and room to spread fire through a whole group without hunting for ammo after every fight. The Hyena gives you none of that room. So how does it actually feel against each faction? Let me start with the Terminids because that is the closest it comes to working. The direct damage and the fire both do fine against smaller and medium bugs. Scavengers, hunters and warriors all burn down without much trouble. But that is the ceiling, and barely okay is a fair way to put it. On difficulty 10 there are simply too many enemies. You spend expensive rounds clearing the small stuff before you can deal with anything bigger, and the signal breach can empty the magazine almost instantly. In my runs I could burn through the entire ammo supply in about 5 minutes. The Hyena handles the individual bugs fine, it just cannot keep up with how many of them there are. The automatons should be a better home for a precise rifle. They reward accurate fire at range, and the Hyena has the penetration and the damage to make a weak spot hit count. But this is exactly where the sway hurts most. Both weak spots are tiny, and the reticule takes too long to settle on them. Swinging between two Devastator heads feels slower than it should, and every miss wastes ammo. The Hyena can kill bots, the damage is there, the hard part is landing the shots, which is the one thing the gun should get right. So against the automatons it comes out mediocre. Against the Illuminate it is mediocre too, and for more specific reasons. A single voteless dies to one bullet. That sounds fine until you remember how many of them flood in at once. And that you are spending a 220 damage round on the weakest enemy in the group. Overseers take 3 or 4 shots to go down. The damage is enough when it lands, but they move a lot and their heads are small, so hitting them with this much sway is a fight on its own. Appropriator missions are the worst of it. Uprooters bounce all over the place, snapping onto them is genuinely obnoxious, and they sometimes eat a second bullet, so a big group drains the magazine in seconds. And the flash mob shows the limit clearly. Even with the burn, I need roughly 2 full magazines to bring one down. That is a huge amount of ammo from a gun that carries this little. So against the Illuminate the Hyena is rough, and I never found a single reason to bring it there. There is a bigger issue sitting under all of this. Right now Helldivers 2 pushes almost every fight into close and mid-range. Objectives make you hold small areas, patrols coming from every side, and enemies pile up faster than a slow rifle can clear them. Even a fight that starts at long range ends with something right on top of you, at the terminal, the drill or the extraction point. That is why marksman rifles sit in a narrow niche to begin with. They can work if you enjoy weak spot shooting and build the rest of your loadout for closer encounters, but your primary still has to handle the crowd once enemies reach the objective. The Hyena is at its best before any of that happens. It needs open ground, clear targets and time between shots. The moment of a fight gets crowded, the sway, the recoil, the small magazine and the thin ammo pool all show up at once. So even if the Hyena handled perfectly, it would still be a niche pick, and it does not handle perfectly. This is where the comparison really lands. If you want fire damage on a primary, the Coyote does the same job with better handling and far more ammo. It is easier to use and it fits almost every situation. And if you want the long range precision instead, the Diligence Counter Sniper does that job better. I checked the numbers, the Diligence fires almost twice as fast, it has better ergonomics and it carries an extra magazine. The Hyena gives you 20 more damage per shot and the burn on top, but that does not make up for how much better the Diligence feels to aim. So the Hyena gets squeezed from both sides. The Coyote does the incendiary job better and more consistently, the Diligence does the precision job better. There is no lane left where the Hyena is the best answer to anything. So is the Hyena worth using? As a marksman rifle it is okay at best. The damage and the fire are both real, but the sway keeps it from ever feeling good. And marksman rifles are a niche weapon type to begin with. And the current meta does not support that playstyle very well. So for most players you are better off bringing the Coyote. Same fire damage, better handling, more ammo and it works everywhere. And if you really like the ranged playstyle, there are better tools for that job. The Hyena is not a bad gun, it is a niche gun in a meta that is not asking for it. It was a free campaign reward, so there is no harm in trying it out, just do not expect it to earn a permanent spot in your loadout. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to support the channel extra, you can also join as a member. There are 2 tiers, and if you want your name to appear on the support wall at the end of my videos, join the higher tier. Thanks for watching.